Guys, I want to talk about a quote. I think it was popularized by Theodore Roosevelt, but I think he got it from, I don't know if it was Putin or a Russian, but it's this concept that they have, I think, within Russian that doesn't translate directly into English, but the concept is trust but verify. And I want to talk about a process that if you instill it across your account managers, for anyone who manages account managers, project managers, if they're able to implement this process, it's a simple process, but it can lead to literally outsized returns when it comes to the return on investment and ultimately oversight, transparency, as well as accountability that you have from any of your delivery team. So if you think about a general service-based business, you're going to have the client, and the client is going to interface, let's say, with strategists, project managers, account managers. Everyone calls them maybe a slightly different thing, but it's all basically the same. There's going to be a guy or gal who communicates with the client to give them campaign or project updates, to let them know where things are at, to voice or manage their initial concerns, as well as to deliver potentially the strategy and what to expect next. So that's the person who interfaces with the team. And then you have a delivery team that sits behind that. Okay. This will ring true of most companies once they get to a certain point of growth. If you're self-employed or a small team, then the person who interfaces also might be the ops person, might be the delivery person. And then this problem doesn't appear as much because you are effectively managing as well as communicating with the client, managing and delivering the work as well as effectively communicating that with the client. But as you grow, as you transition to the next stage, and you're going to separate those roles out, it's a standard part of the growth of businesses. And what will then happen is that you'll have fundamentally, let's call them the account manager in this instance, and then you've got the delivery team or the operations team or the implementation team, whatever you want to call it. But you've got the account manager. The account manager will be gathering reports from the delivery team. Now, the reports that come from the delivery team will often be in some form of dashboard, or it will be a audio update. So we, for example, use business WhatsApp. We trade voice notes back and forth to give ourselves updates, to update the clients. And that will be then combined with some kind of reporting dashboard. It can be as simple as a Google Sheet. It can be as complex as a dynamic Looker Studio interface for reporting the Google Analytics and Google Search Console results. It could be as simple as a screenshot that we throw across to show a before and after result. It can be a PDF presentation that we take people through. So there's all of these various manifestations and reports that fundamentally you will deliver to your clients to let them know how work is going. And these reports will also, to a degree, be used internally when your account managers will be getting insights from the delivery team. Okay. So the challenge that inherently comes from that, and this is where the trust but verify element comes in. And if you're able to really fix this or tweak this thing, it's going to really make a significant difference to your results. The thing that you can tweak is when a report is being shared, a Google Sheet, a screenshot, a PDF, all of that type of stuff, they're secondary sets of data.
Taking a screenshot.
And that is my phone turning on to say, hey, so there's secondary sets of data, right? So when I share with you, for example, one of the examples that we run cold email campaigns for clients. Let's imagine now that I'm the account manager and I'm collecting a report. So we've got Temi and we've got Sebastian who manage some of the clients on the lead generation side for the digital side of our business. And they will, for example, collect a report from the team. And the team could be a quick audio update, can be a live, of course, dynamic call. They have their daily stand-ups. And what is missed when you are collecting a report is you're not viewing the primary data. Now think about this. If you've got a delivery manager who's reporting upon a result, but then the account manager, the project manager, the strategist is unable to look at the raw data sets, then inherently the limitation here is that the only thing we're able to verify is a report that they built that can inherently miss things. There's going to be things missing. So it's a difference between me, and let me give you a different example of me saying, great, we've set up an email campaign and we've launched 100 emails that went out today. 100 emails went out today. And I share with you a Google Sheet showing you that that's the case, or a screenshot showing you that that's the case. However, if I then log into Woodpecker, Mailshake, Sales Handy, Instantly, Lemlist, whatever cold email messaging platform you use, and then I see that, well, you showed me the 100 as being queued up to be sent. You shared that in the Google Sheet. But when I look at the primary source of data, I just quickly scan it because as you're telling me, I'm receiving your report. But in parallel, I've got a second screen, second window of the actual live campaign in its raw format in the actual account that is being managed. I'm able to scan and notice there's an error. One of the mail merges on that email campaign is got an additional parentheses, an additional bracket, and as a consequence, it's erroring, and therefore it's not pushing through to the live campaign. So actually, the campaign hasn't gone live at all. Do you see the difference here between being able to collect a report, trust, collect an update, trust, relay it to the client, trust, but then check the primary source of data, verify, quickly scan the account, verify, and then quickly identify that that extra parentheses, which was inadvertently added, slip of the thumb, slip of the forefinger, is actually meant that the report that was given isn't an actual reflection of what's happening. And that means the report is therefore inaccurate. So you are only as good as your ability to verify any of the data that you are able to see and then compare against the report. So there's the raw data and there's the report. They're not the same thing. Now, if you implement or give the team, the account managers, the strategic people, the ability to very quickly view the raw data set and be able to build a checklist of typical things to look for that are problems with ultimately a data set, they will then be able to immediately spot problems. It's the difference between getting a report of a financial statement and then having the financial statement and scanning and saying this net profit looks just off, something's wrong with it. And then once you have a thread that feels out of place, that's gone astray, that's frayed, you're able to pull on that thread and discover more and more and more problems. It's the difference between giving you a report of technical things that have been implemented, but then seeing on the tracker when you run an audit on a technical SEO report, SEMrush, Ahrefs, seeing that that tracker has not changed. The score was 83. The score's still 83, even though you said you implemented 10 changes. Why is the score still 83? So in this way, if you're able to pair reporting to your account managers that comes from your delivery team with looking at the primary sets of data in a very quick, easy, and consumable way and give them a checklist to follow, it will supercharge the actual ability of the delivery team because, and this is the part that people get upset about and they really shouldn't, because it sounds a little bit like IRS, HMRC, your own internal audit. You raise the standard of the entire team across the board because you are able to quarterback them. Okay, and this is the culture that you want to foster. You can quarterback your entire team because everyone then is looking at your rear view. Everyone is supporting you to say, Deepak, you know what? With that video that you put together, there's lighting just here on this side that beams across your face, and there's a shadow here. I don't know that you noticed that. And I'd say, you know what? It just, I guess I noticed it, but I unconsciously I became so used to it that it faded into the background. And they might say, well, for me, it's in the foreground in pre-production. So you need to probably maybe look at getting more lighting, fix a couple of things so you have consistent lighting. And I'd say, wow, thank you for quarterbacking me because by doing that, you've helped us raise the overall standard of all of the work that we do. So when you put in structures and mechanisms to sense check, fact check, verify the work that's being done, it improves everything for everyone. Okay, so that's where I'd say that if you can build that level of transparency. So when, for example, in our company as an agency, we go into a lead generation meeting, we go into an SEO meeting, we go into a paid media meeting. have the dashboards open in front of you, the primary data set, so you can look in Ahrefs, you can look in SEMrush, you can look in Sales Handy, you can look in Mailshake, you can look in Google Search Console, Page Speed Insights, and have them up as you are being given a report to cross-reference and correlate what's being said and what's being reported versus what the primary data is telling you. And these things, guys, they take 30 seconds. So one of the things that I see that doesn't happen is that it takes 30 seconds to check this. And when you're able to check it, you will then be empowered to improve the team because you'll understand what to read and what the signals are. Now, some of you will have people that come in that fundamentally are, and you're already, one of the things that I see happen is that you'll say, well, my team already know what to look for. The account managers, the project managers, they already know what to look for with the reports. But are they actually doing it? Are they actually looking at the primary data? Are they being in that position where those dashboards are actually open? Because the little things tend to have an outsized impact. By that additional screen being up, you can save yourselves or make yourselves literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of the things that my account managers catch and have caught as a consequence of the tools being open over the months, over the years, have led to team changes, process improvements, generally better, ultimately, standards across every single campaign because we're able to support each other. Because people can genuinely forget. They can forget, they can be negligent, they can be overworked, they can be underappreciated. It could be anything. The reasons need to be addressed as a root cause, but in the initial instance, the problem itself needs to be resolved. And this is something that I see happen time and time again across any ultimately industry where we're checking, for example, a different example. When a report has been given about catering, because we have a catering business, and we'll say, great, we've got 57 glasses that are available in our inventory. Is at some point anyone spot checking or fact checking the actual reports that have been given? And is there a process in place to do that? So fact checking everything, trust but verify, needs to be perpetuated across every element of your business because it will ultimately improve the return on investment that you get dramatically from the entire team. And it's a wicked system to improve the quality of the people that you have at your company. Because for some people, that's inherently uncomfortable because reports can be inflated. Insights can be misrepresented, and often these reports and insights are either inflated or misrepresented could happen inadvertently. People don't know that they're not producing the level of outcome or output that they don't always know that their benchmark is very different to the benchmark that others are producing around them. So one of the other things that we do, for example, is we have a plugin, and there's many different versions of it, but this is one that exists within a WordPress framework. It's called Simple History, and it will show you the changes that people make within a WordPress CMS. And then we keep a log. We'll say, okay, great. So here's Sorav's 113 changes this week versus Ali's 19 changes, 113, 19. And this is the primary data that we look at to understand, well, who's actually driving the biggest change from an implementation perspective. There's then secondary conversations about strategy and how that manifests in communications and leverage, but everyone at some level will need crude approximations of numbers to understand progress that's being made. You will need it. You need a benchmark, a reference point. So setting up mechanisms to ultimately look at primary data sources to then correlate that with the reports that people are producing in such a fashion that it's an instant check almost, where you can open up a dashboard and say, well, the score has gone down, or you can open up a changelog tool such as Simple History, or we use another changelog tool called Releases app where people put in their changelog for work that's been done, and we can see that, well, what you're saying is that so much work has been done, but there's your 4 changes versus this other person's 57 changes. There's a huge imbalance there, and it may be that that person believes they're putting in a significant volume of work. And then they've seen that new benchmark and they either realize that they're not the right fit for the organization or they need to up their game to remain in the organization. And if you're able to set up these systems, it will improve everything that you are able to overview, have purview on. Because as the company grows, as your organization fundamentally expands, Much like there's these dashboards that people present and people produce, which is a common part of it. Show me the reporting dashboard that you pulled it in, that you put together. It needs to be pulled from primary data if it is a dashboard. If it's a PDF, there's inherently problems with that. But in any event, at any time, having the ability to go and check the primary tools that you use to monitor and measure stuff and then correlate that against what people are saying is always going to enhance your ability to deliver a massive return on investment internally by improving your team and externally to clients by delivering better results. So trust. Always trust your team, because if you don't trust your team, you've inherently got problems with the way that you're building your organization. But verify, because often people don't know what they don't know.